Truly is a story of survival and determination by Tiffany. There's no other way I can explain it.
I was unconscious for about 2 hours and did indeed have to splint one of my legs and pop the other knee back into place. I lost my tent, I lost my vestibule, and I did eventually lose both sleeping bags.
I would have never anticipated her in my wildest dreams being able to get back as far as she did.
She vanished deep in the California wilderness. No car, no phone signal, no trace. For over 3 weeks, search teams scoured the mountains until they gave up, convinced she couldn't have survived. But then, she appeared, alive. And the way she says she made it through is a story unlike anything you've heard, one that some people aren't sure they believe. Tiffany Slaton had always been drawn to the quiet. That April, she left her home in Georgia and headed for California's Sierra Nevada mountains, a trip she said was meant to clear her head. Her destination was the tiny, remote community of Mono Hot Springs, reachable only by winding mountain roads and miles of rugged trails. On April 20th, she was last seen riding an electric bike near Huntington Lake, bundled up against the spring chill. It was the kind of day where the snow still clung to the shaded slopes, but the air carried the first signs of thaw. By all accounts, she wasn't carrying much: a small pack, light clothing, and a few personal items. Not nearly enough for what was about to come. Somewhere along her route, she says the weather turned. A sudden snowstorm swept through. Visibility dropped, and she claims an avalanche came down from above. The force knocked her from her bike and sent her tumbling. When she woke, her knee was twisted, her leg fractured, and the bike was gone. Her phone showed no signal. The only sounds were wind, snow, and the slow realization that she was completely alone. The first hours were the hardest. Pain shot through her leg with every movement, but staying still meant freezing to death. She tore strips from her clothing to improvise a splint, tightening it until the bone held in place. Every few minutes, she tried her phone. Nothing but the same dead signal. By nightfall, the storm had swallowed the mountains. The temperature plummeted. She huddled beneath a patch of fallen branches, using her backpack as a windbreak. The food she'd packed was gone within 5 days. After that, she turned to the only thing she could find: wild leeks sprouting through the melting snow. She chewed them raw, their bitter taste burning in her mouth, and melted snow in a tin cup for water. Days bled into nights, the cold seeping into her bones. She scribbled notes in a small journal: dates, the weather, thoughts she didn't want to forget. The mountains were alive in ways that kept her on edge. The distant howl of coyotes, the silent movement of something large just beyond her sight. Each morning, she asked herself the same question: how much longer can I last out here? By the 3rd week, Tiffany says she could barely stand. Her legs were weak, her head light, and every step felt like dragging lead through snow. That morning, the 13th storm in less than a month swept across the mountains, sealing her fate, or so she thought. Somewhere beyond the whiteout, a man was unlocking the doors to a remote cabin. He owned a small mountain resort nearby and had come up to prepare for the summer season. When he stepped inside, he froze. In the corner, curled beneath a pile of blankets, was a woman, gaunt, shivering, and barely able to speak. It was Tiffany. She'd crawled into the cabin hours earlier, looking for shelter, and collapsed inside. The man quickly called for help. When her father picked up the phone in Georgia, the first thing she said was, "Dad, I'm alive." News of Tiffany's survival spread fast. Headlines called it a miracle: 24 days injured, alone, and alive in one of California's most unforgiving landscapes. She was praised for her toughness, her willpower, and her resourcefulness. Interviews painted her as a fighter who refused to give up, no matter how hopeless it seemed. But as the excitement faded, questions began to surface. Local outdoorsmen pointed out there had been no avalanche reports in that area during late April. Rescue teams said the snowpack was thin, not the kind that typically triggers slides. Some wondered how she'd survived on only wild leeks for so long, with no visible signs of severe malnutrition. Others questioned her claims of using Siri to search for help without a signal. Tiffany stood by her story. Her family insisted that no one who wasn't there could understand what she went through. Whether every detail happened exactly as she said or not, one fact remained: she had gone into the mountains alone, and she had come back alive. Her survival left a trail of both admiration and doubt, a story balanced somewhere between miracle and mystery. The mountains keep their secrets, and maybe this one will never be fully understood. Real story that sounds made up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. If you want more stories like this, we've got another one waiting for you right here.